Hi, welcome to Endless Nurses World. I hope all are fine. Today we are going to talk about hypokalemia. Before that, we should know about potassium. Potassium is an electrolyte. It is a major intracellular fluid cation. Potassium moves into the cells during the formation of new tissue and it leaves the cell during tissue breakdown. Some of the functions of potassium will do. First, transmission and conduction of nerve impulses, maintenance of normal cardiac rhythm, maintains smooth and skeletal muscle contraction, regulates intracellular osmolality and promotes cellular growth. Then plays a role in acid base balance. Then hypokalemia. Hypokalemia it is defined as when the serum potassium level is less than 3.5 milliequivalent per liter. It is a life-threatening situation. But the normal level of serum potassium level is 3.5 to 5 milliequivalent per liter or 3.5 to 5 millimole per liter. Some of the food sources are rich in potassium. Avocado, bananas, cantaloupe, oranges, strawberries, tomatoes, carrots, mushrooms, spinach, fish, pork, beef, wheat potatoes, and raisins. Then causes of hypokalemia. First one is actual total body potassium loss, inadequate potassium intake, movement of potassium from the extracellular fluid to the intracellular fluid, dilution of serum potassium. So first causes is actual total body potassium loss. Our body is lost potassium in some of the conditions. First, excessive uses of medications. Medications such as diuretics and corticosteroids. Then increased secretion of aldosterone. It will cause the hypokalemia. Example, Cushing syndrome. In vomiting, diarrhea, all gastrointestinal losses will cause hypokalemia. Then wound drainage, prolonged nasogastric suctioning, excessive diaphoresis, these are all the causes causing hypokalemia. Then kidney is not able to reabsorb the potassiums in the renal tubules. So these are all these some causes of actual hypokalemia. Then inadequate potassium intake. In some situations we are not able to take potassium adequately. That first one is fasting, NPO, nothing by mouth status. Then movement of potassium from the extracellular fluid to the intracellular fluid. So causes of alkalosis, hyperinsulinism. What will cause in case of alkalosis? The hydrogen ion movement is taken place. So instead of hydrogen ion, the potassiums moves to the extracellular. What it will cause hypokalemia. The dilution of serum potassium in case of water intoxication and intravenous therapy with potassium deficient solutions will cause hypokalemia. Assessment. Then cardiovascular assessment. Pulses are weak and thready pulses and peripheral pulses are very weak. Orthostatic hypotension will occur. Shallow, ineffective respirations will happen. Then weakness of the skeletal muscles. Then diminished blood sounds. Neuromuscular, anxiety, lethargy, skeletal muscle weakness, leg cramps, confusion, coma, loss of dactyl discrimination, paresthesia, deep tendon hyporeflexia will happen. Gastrointestinal, decreased motility, hypoactive absent bowel sounds, nausea, vomiting, constipation, abdominal distension, paralytic ileus. Then laboratory findings, the serum potassium level is less than 3.5 milliequivalent per liter. In ECG changes, ST depression, it may be shallow or flat or inverted T wave or prominent U wave. Interventions. First we have to assess the patient's conditions, cardiovascularly, respiratory, neuromuscular, gastrointestinal, renal status. We have to assess all those status. Then we have to place the client on a cardiac monitor electrolyte values, administer potassium supplements either orally or intravenously. Then oral supplements, we have to oral potassium supplements may cause nausea, vomiting, and they should not be taken on empty stomach. If the patient is having these symptoms, nausea, vomiting, we have to immediately stop this medicines. The liquid potassium is an unpleasant taste, so we should be taken with juice or another liquids. Intravenously administered potassium. Then safety measures for the client in case of muscle weakness, we have to advise the safety measures. Then if the client is taking a potassium losing diuretics, we have to change the potassium retaining diuretics. Then instruct about potassium rich diet. Then precautions with intravenously administered potassium. We have to maintain some precautions while we are administering potassium through intravenously. So first one is potassium is never given by intravenous push or intramuscular or subcutaneous route. The dilution is needed. More than 1 milliequivalent diluted with 10 ml of solutions. Some healthcare agencies have prepared intravenous solution with potassium. So before administering that preparation, we should make ensure about the equally distribution of potassium into the bag. Then in case of and we should ensure labeling the IV solutions. Then maximum recommended infusion rate is 5 to 10 milliequivalent per hour, not more than 20 milliequivalent per hour. In case of patient is receiving 20 milliequivalent per hour, more than 10 milliequivalent per hour, we have to place a patient in a cardiac monitor in case of rule out any cardiac changes. And then we have to always use infusion devices to administer potassium. Then potassium infusion can cause phlebitis, so we should always monitor the intravenous. Any phlebitis or infiltration occurs, we have to stop this infusions. Then we have to assess the renal status before administration of potassium and monitor the intake output. These are all some precautions we have to follow during administration of potassium. So these are all about hypokalemia. I hope all are understand, and if you have any doubt, you have to give comments. And if you like this channel, you can subscribe to me. Thank you.